Hey, what's up? Welcome back to another edition of the Mandatory Live. We took a week off, but we're back. Thank you so much if you've already been rocking with us. If you haven't, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button because that helps the channel grow. And we're also on the audio side as well. So if you got a couple of minutes, leave a rate and review because that obviously helps the channel grow as well.
But this fight is a big fight. Um, Unfortunately, I think it's only big for boxing fans and boxing consumers. We'll see how it actually performs, but these are two of the best welterweights in the world, and I'm excited to see what happens here.
And so that's actually what I want to get into before we kind of break it down. And I know we said we'd be quick today, but I need to talk about this with you because this is Boots Ennis and Stanionis, who right now in their careers, I guess you could say they're both belt holders, right? I believe Stanionis has the WBA, Jaron Boots Ennis has the IBF, right? And the other two titles, I believe that is Mario Barrios has one. Does he not?
Yes, and was it Brian Norman Jr.
Yeah,
that
Brian
accused him of holding it hostage or whatever the case may be?
Nonetheless, when I take a look at the welterweight division, okay, this is a division that is prestigious, right? Some of the best boxers of all time fight in this division. Like, for example, Brian, you love Trinidad. I loved
Yes.
Oscar De La Hoya growing up. You know, we just got out of the Terrence Bud Crawford, Errol Spence Jr. era. And I'm taking a look at this division and I'm like, it's not as exciting right now. Like,
No,
what's up with this division, yo?
it's the worst welterweight division maybe of my lifetime. I'm not even joking.
That's what I'm saying.
This is the worst it's been because you and I we're a couple years apart in age. So we grew up with the same people. You mentioned
Yeah.
Trinidad and De La Hoya. Also around that time, you had others later on. You had like Miguel Cotto and Shane Mosley, and obviously
Mayweather.
Floyd Mayweather, Zab Judah at one point.
You could even go back like Tommy Hearns, Roberto Duran. Like, this is a weight class that has a legendary names and it's always been popping. And I'm taking a look at it right now and I'm like, the only name that really gets me excited is Jaron Boots Ennis. And when Virgil Ortiz was in this weight class, I was like, I love this weight class because they're going to make some very interesting fights. And then obviously Virgil couldn't get down to 147. He ended up moving to 154, which is healthier for him. And that makes all the sense in the world. But Brian, is this weight class just not popping right now? Because for me,
yes.
I'm not excited. And when I took a look at this fight, I'm like, this is a dope fight. Stanionis and Ennis, because as you know, Stanionis and Virgil Ortiz were supposed to fight like a million times and it never happened.
I don't want
Right?
to, and look, we're not shitting on Boots or Eimantas Stanionis.
No, not at all.
We're
It's just,
shitting on the welterweight depth as a whole.
yeah.
Because if you just look at the WBC champions, just the list of WBC, we're using the WBC title for starters. The WBC welterweight champions. This is from 1993 on. I'm not going to read the entire list, but I mean, Pernell Whitaker, Oscar De La Hoya, Felix Trinidad, De La Hoya again, Shane Mosley. You go on to like Vernon Forrest, and then Ricardo Mayorga obviously beats him in stunning fashion. Ricardo Mayorga in this era would be amazing. And also very chaotic. You could go on down. Obviously, Floyd Mayweather, Andre Berto, who at one point looked like he was going to be awesome, didn't really play out that way, but he was very exciting, as was young Victor Ortiz. And then in the mid 10s, this era was frustrating because you had a lot of talented guys and you just wanted all of them to fight each other. And some of them did, but like Danny Garcia, who was champion in that division at the time, Keith Thurman, later Sean Porter, Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford. And now we got from all that to, no disrespect, Mario Barrios, who I don't think is better than a single guy that I just mentioned. I didn't even mention Corey Spinks, Zab Judah, Carlos Baldemir. Like, this is what it is with the welterweight division right now. It's really plummeted. That's just WBC. If you look at others, like obviously Keith Thurman, who I thought was as good as anybody else in the welterweight division during a period, probably from like 15 to like 17, 18. This is not even to mention Manny Pacquiao, who had the WBO title on lock for a while. And obviously Miguel Cotto, who we mentioned earlier, Timothy Bradley, who's a Hall of Famer, who I thought was very underrated when he was fighting because he wasn't a knockout artist. And you just go on down. Paul Williams as well is another name that I just remembered. Like, we don't have those in the welterweight division right now. And there's some fights that we didn't get back then. So I credit these two dudes for getting in the ring with one another, because like we didn't get Miguel Cotto versus Paul Williams. We didn't get Danny Garcia versus Terrence Crawford. We didn't get Keith Thurman versus Terrence Crawford. We didn't get Errol Spence versus, whomever, like so on and so forth. Manny Pacquiao. Like there's just a lot of fights that we didn't get. So this fight we're getting. And I think Boots Ennis, to be fair, has the talent to be an all-time great, but the resume has to sort of get there. So I think this is one step in getting there.
Yeah, and we got a good comment here from IMPK13. I want to go.
We got another good one from him that I didn't even hear about. I just pulled up the story on it and I was reading it right now. But we may or may not get to that.
We're gonna put it up. I haven't heard the story, so I can get info on that from you guys. IMPK13, good friend of the show, said the old welterweight division ended with Spence Crawford fight.
Yes.
The current welterweight division is still in its infancy. Give it some time. Okay, I'm not mad at that. That's some positivity. Maybe I'm being a little bit too negative.
IMPK.
Let's go to Hustleman right quick, because we haven't seen him for a little minute. A long time no see, long time friend of the show. Thank you, Hustleman, for joining us.
IMPK, let me ask you, who are the up and coming welterweights that you're excited about? This is what I would ask you right now. I think the division is in such bad shape that like we're having Devin Haney like quickly
Teofimo
move up
Lopez.
to it. Teofimo Lopez might be there soon.
But I'm okay with that.
Ryan Garcia. I think Ryan Garcia and Rolly Romero are fighting for like the interim WBA or the WBA regular. I don't know what the fuck.
For welterweight?
Yeah, it's like it's something.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Okay, so
BoxRec won't tell us because they don't recognize WBA anymore.
Yeah, it's so corrupt, so whatever, right? So
they all are.
The 140-pound division to me has always been an exciting division. Like I love the 140-pound division. And I wouldn't be mad if some of those guys end up moving, because that 140-pound division right now is so crowded, but so exciting. But I think obviously they're going to eventually move to 147 and make some noise there. But Brian, let's get into the fight now. And then we'll roll back to IMPK13's very interesting comment.
By the way, Rohan Polanco is like the welterweight that probably excites me most for the future.
Yes. Very big on him.
But like, I don't know how much else you got, especially if you're looking at the guys that are ranked. Josh Taylor's a welterweight now. He's going to fight Eko Essuman.
That might be good for Josh Taylor, but it's like I'm more concerned of, is Josh Taylor done now? Like, is it his time where possibly like age might have caught up to him because all those injuries and stuff like that? Like, we haven't seen Josh Taylor look like Josh Taylor since he beat like Jose Ramirez.
Like Brian Norman Jr., I think is good and was getting disrespected into the fight where he ended up, winning the interim title. But like, I know Top Rank is doing their job and promoting the shit out of him because they're his promoters. But I look at and I'm like, am I supposed to believe that he's unbeatable? Like, really? Like,
yeah.
And he might be the second best welterweight in the world right now. But I'm like, no disrespect, but come on. What are we talking about here?
Yeah, this is so funny. They have Devin Haney ranked, the WBC, number 1 at 147 pounds.
Right. Who's better than him, though?
Yeah, this is such an issue. This is how not popping the welterweight division is right now. So we need to make some noise, but we're getting a very good fight.
Yeah,
if you like boxing, this is the fight that you want to see, right? Because you got Jaron Boots Ennis, who he should be a face of boxing, a bigger face of boxing, to be honest with you. But now is his time to really make some noise against a very, very good opponent who hasn't actually fought in a long time. He fought like one time in 3 years. Stanionis, who's undefeated. And this is going to be a very, very good fight stylistically. Brian, how do you see this fight going? And if you have a bet, save that for the end, because we are going to give our bets. And guys, drop your comments. Let us know who you're going to be going with for this fight. Brian, Ennis, Stanionis, who do you have winning? Tell us how you see it going down.
We should really talk about the betting odds. What I want to say first is I think Stanionis is being kind of overlooked in this fight. I do think stylistically, Jaron Boots Ennis. So here's the thing: in doing the film study leading up to this, which you can find on my YouTube channel, it's a 2-parter. I was looking at the fight with Karen Chukada's on the second time around, and I forgot because it was the first time I watched it since actually watching it that night. Boots got tagged a lot more than I remember. He also was better in that first fight against the two, or between the two, where it looked like we were like, hey, like Karen Chukadazan's not throwing, but Boots is like clearly struggling with the footwork and the defense and the accuracy a little bit. But he won every round because his opponent wasn't throwing. And in the second fight, Chukadazan is throwing, and I thought he won 3 rounds. Like Boots, his hands would be low in the pocket. He thinks he's out of range because he does have a 6-inch reach advantage over Chukadazan or something along those lines. And then he'll just get tagged with the left hook out of nowhere, or he'll eat a jab or whatever. You still see the skills on the display, and he obviously did enough to win. And he was impressive at times, but I still think, he's left people wanting more because of his talent and because the resume just isn't quite there to match the talent right now. And Eimantas Stanionis, if Karen Chukadazan could hit Boots in the pocket, Eimantas Stanionis is only going to be in the pocket. Like, he's only going to be in Boots' face. So this is sort of the test for me. It's like, all right, how do you navigate this? Do you turn it into a counter-punching fest where this guy's just tailor-made for you and you're just like, what, and just beating him from a distance the entire fight? Or is the pressure going to actually make you like break down a little bit and you're going to be kind of on your bicycle because Stanionis is just going to be in your face for 12 rounds? Stanionis doesn't have like a world beater resume either necessarily, but he does have a couple of impressive wins. I worry about the inactivity, but to me, I think Boots gets this done and ultimately gets this done by decision. But I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking about 115, 113, 116, 112. Would not be surprised.
Okay, so I kind of have a different outlook for this fight. So when you talk about styles, Jaron Boots Ennis, and okay, so there's some controversy with that fight with Karen Chukazan because he was getting tagged to the body. And Jaron Boots Ennis, I don't feel like he had a game plan that was different from the first one. So when Karen Chukazan came with a different game plan and was kind of like in his face, he was not making any adjustments that I thought he was going to make. And it was in his hometown. And this was a fight that we didn't even want to get. Like, I don't even remember like staying home for the second fight. I was like, well, I'll just watch it later. I literally didn't. I was like, I'm going to watch it later. Like,
we complained about it on the show. We were like, why is the IBF making him a mandatory again? Like, we just saw this.
But here's the one thing that I will say. It kept him active. Right. So that's the good thing because it kept Boots Ennis active. And I think that's important because if you look at Stanionis, he hasn't really been active. When was his last fight? Like last year? Last spring?
Like a year ago.
Yeah.
Gabriel Maestre, who's like 38 years old.
Yeah. And that's too long of a layoff against a very, very good Jaron Boots Ennis. Jaron Boots Ennis, he is good defensively, but he did get tagged a little bit more than I thought. And it was to the body. He does have the speed factor over a guy like Stanionis. Like Stanionis, when it comes to speed, it's not as elite as Jaron Boots Ennis. He's not like slow-footed or anything, but I think that's where Jaron Boots Ennis is going to be having a lot of success. And I like the way that Jaron Boots Ennis likes to create separation, especially with his shoulders. Like, he's able to do that. And he moves around the ring really well. Stanionis, I think he has decent footwork as well. Like, he's not slow-footed. The one thing I love about him is his jab. Like, that's where he's going to be able to make his money, because if he establishes the jab and he likes to throw the double jab and then go to the body where Boots Ennis was getting tagged, that's what Stanionis has to do. Like, he has to establish a jab in this fight. I think Jaron Boots Ennis is going to try to control that distance because Stanionis is like a come forward fighter and he's going to try to be in your face. So this is a very interesting fight. But I think the layoff and the fact that Jaron Boots Ennis is going to be able to create that separation, he's going to have the speed factor, and he's also going to get to the body of Stanionis. I think the layoff worries me. And this is arguably the toughest test that Jaron Boots Ennis has ever had. We've known that he's tried to go after a guy like Terrence Bud Crawford. Didn't happen. We know that there were even talks at one point, possibly him and Virgil Ortiz could be the kings of this division. And there were talks of them fighting. Like, none of those fights happened. Him and Stanionis is the best fight that you can make in this division. And it's Jaron Boots Ennis' biggest fight. And he has to make a statement. Like, he can't go around being like, I'm the king of this division, and have like a performance against Karen Chukazan where we're like, what happened? Like, what happened there? Jaron Boots Ennis is a guy that could be the face of the sport. He has all the attributes, man, and he's really fun to watch. So I could see this being a very close fight where it goes to the cards, but I could also, and I'm going to sprinkle on this, Brian, I could also see Jaron Boots Ennis stopping a guy like Stanionis, getting to the body, using his hand speed, using his footwork. I think it's a possibility between rounds 9 through 12. And there is some value there. I think I might sprinkle on that because the layoff worries me, whereas a guy like Jaron Boots Ennis has been a little bit more active. So that's how I'm looking at it. I'm going to rock with Jaron Boots Ennis to win this fight regardless, but Stanionis isn't going to make it easy, but I do want to see the layoff factor. That's how I'm rolling with it. How are you going to be betting this fight?
Yeah, let's do the odds. IMPK, we'll get to your comment after this because I want to get to it. Boots is minus 750 on the money line, which is
no value.
Crazy to me.
That's disrespectful. This should be like a lot closer. If it was like minus 350, I'd be like, okay, like what?
400.
You know what I mean?
400 is where I was thinking. Stanionis plus 460. That it makes me consider some things, is what I'll say.
He's Stan. Oh, okay, yeah. So it looks like more money has come on. Pause. Okay, it looks like more money has been thrown towards Stanionis because the odds have changed a little bit on one prominent sports book, and until they start to sponsor us, we're not going to say the sports books. All right,
Boots is plus 100 to win on points, and that's the first place I look.
Okay, so where I'm looking, Ennis is a minus 550 on the money line, and Stanionis is a plus 375. Like, okay, like I'm not totally mad at that, but Jaron Boots Ennis, if you're going with him to win by decision, that's a plus 110, which, I mean, I'm not mad at that either.
Those are better numbers.
Yeah, and so I like when I'm going to group round betting, and this is usually where I like to make my bets, guys. I like rounds 9 through 12. So if I want Jaron Boots Ennis and I'm picking him to win in rounds 9 through 12, it's a plus 400. There's tons of value there. I like that bet, but sorry, Brian, go ahead. How are you going to be betting this fight?
Yeah, I'm just doing Boots by decision. I'm interested in Boots to score a knockdown at minus 110. He did knock down Chukadazan last time around. There was also a point deduction due to holding in favor of Jaron Ennis. So he got he was the beneficiary of that. Minus 110 for him to score a knockdown is interesting to me because Stanionis is going to be in his face the entire time, which opens him up to counter-punching opportunities from Jaron Ennis, who also has a lot of power. And it's entirely possible he catches him, flush with a lead uppercut, a short left hook on the inside or something along those lines, maybe a counter, just a pull counter, and then a straight right hand, boom, just drops you on your backside. Like, I could see something like that happening as well. Stanionis to score a knockdown is plus 500 in one particular book. The route to that happening is just the volume of punches, and then he just catches them. Like, he hasn't dropped anyone in a while. Like, he has some pop, but we haven't seen it in a while, and there's inactivity there. So this one I get being plus 500. It just makes a lot of sense considering he didn't knock down Maestre. He didn't knock down Butayev. Like,
Maestre also got to the Stanionis' body though too. Remember that fight?
A little bit, yeah.
Like, he had some success there, and that's why I think Jaron Boots Ennis, I think he could get a stoppage by going to the body.
Yeah.
In round 9 through 12.
If this is going to be one-sided in any direction, it's going to be one-sided in favor of Ennis. I think Stanionis could win rounds though, because while Chukadazan, like, he has the movement that could disrupt Ennis, and this could be a styles makes fights thing. Like, if someone's going to be in your face the entire fight, and you've been landed on by someone who isn't, then, we need to see how, this is a great test for him. We need to see how he sort of navigates this, because, by the way, we still think he's going to fight Virgil Ortiz in the future. I think this is a very good sort of warm up for that. Yeah. Virgil Ortiz is better, more agile, more athletic, taller, longer than Stanionis. But Stanionis is kind of like the mini, older Lithuanian version of Virgil Ortiz.
And he's really good, guys. Like, he's really good. I just think the layoff kind of worries me a little bit for him. But Stanionis is a great competitor. He's a come forward fighter, which is my favorite style. And he has a really good jab. So, like I said earlier, if he's able to establish that jab, he's going to be able to get to Jaron Boots Ennis, and he's going to be able to close the distance.
Did he knock down Butayev? Actually, I'm looking at the cards because I remember that being an action-packed fight. I remember
Yeah.
they were in each other's face the entire night.
Yeah.
There was a split decision. I thought Stanionis won, but there's a point deduction here, and I'm like, oh, was there a knockdown that I'm forgetting about in that fight? It was 3 years ago. Regardless, I don't think Butayev is like someone I'd compare to Boots Ennis either, But I think regardless, I think this is a really good fight for Boots at this stage. It potentially gets him another welterweight title, which is great. And it opens us back to our welterweight division conversation because it's like what will be next for him. But that's a conversation we could have after he wins. If he does.
I think that's a great conversation. Also, for this fight, I don't think you can count out Stanionis. Like, this is a very, very good fight. I think I want to say it's a 60-40 fight.
70-30 probably. All right, IMPK. I'll be quick on this. Aren't there 3 big welterweight fights on May 2nd? Okay.
Are they all going to be at welterweight? Is that what we're hearing? I thought
two of them because
Teofimo Lopez and Barbosa are at 140, I'm guessing.
And that's because it's for the title.
Yeah.
Like the WBO title that Barbosa's wanted literally for years. And has been a contender for, highly ranked by the WBO literally for years. Devin Haney and Jose Ramirez are fighting at welterweight. They're not actually like true welterweights. Well, Devin Haney might be because he'd be coming in at like 170 and shit.
Yeah, he's like,
he's actually like a super middleweight guy.
The frame, if you look at the frame of Devin Haney, like his shoulders,
and he still can knock people out. But regardless, like there's him and Jose Ramirez that's at welterweight. Devin Haney is going to fight for the WBC title at some point. Like that they're setting that up. Like Devin Haney versus Mario Barrios. Yay. Before the end of the year. A fight that every fucking buddy wants.
Yeah.
And then Ryan Garcia versus Rolly Romero. This is at welterweight as well. These guys aren't actual welterweights, but if we're being honest, Ryan Garcia, like, I know we saw the Devin Haney fight, but also in terms of big fights, this is a big fight. But Rolly Romero, when's the last time he impressed you, IMPK? We had him on the show. Like,
I think it was against Tank. And he got knocked out.
The fight that he got knocked out. Okay.
But yeah, that was, it's Tank. Like, let's
I get it. No, I get the point. But like Manuel Jaimes was whatever. Isaac Cruz, he got beaten from pillar to post, as people say. Ismael Barroso, we don't need to relitigate that horrible ass robbery of performance. Tank.
It had to be Tank. Like, that's the last time I was like, oh, Rolly looks pretty decent. I had him up on the scorecard. And
3 years ago. It was 3 years ago. Anthony Yickett before that, if you want to pick a fight that he actually won, that was 4 years ago. And then with Ryan Garcia. So you have the steroid thing in Devin Haney fight. I'm calling it the steroid thing because he literally tested positive for steroids. Oscar Duarte, didn't think that was an impressive performance, but he did get the stoppage. But he didn't look awesome in that fight. Duarte is better than people think. I'll note that as well. Tank, he didn't look impressive really at all. Tank just kind of like took it to, like, as soon as he dropped him early on in that fight in round 2, like that was kind of it. Ryan Garcia couldn't figure things out. Javier Fortuna was the last time I was really like, oh shit, like that was an impressive win. And that was 3 years ago as well. So you have 2 guys who are just chaotic by nature, who are fun, who are just like dynamite waiting to blow up, both inside and outside the ring. And it's entertaining, but like to me, it doesn't strengthen like the welterweight division is great right now. Sort of argument. Nerd says we need Rolly as comic relief, and
exactly.
I'm not gonna lie, like I literally think that's what he's there for.
Yeah, but I think him and Ryan Garcia sell a great fight. And sometimes that's what you need.
Yeah.
And this is still a solid fight. Rolly still has power. Like, Rolly has power. Rolly started boxing at a later age. And he's going to make this entertaining, and he's going to get the bag. And you got to love that, right? Like, you're putting your life on the line every time you get into the ring. This is going to be a very entertaining fight. And I guarantee you, Ryan Garcia is going to make it interesting. Like, I don't think it's going to be one of those things where Ryan Garcia is going to knock him out within the first, like, 4 rounds. They're going to make this interesting, and they're going to talk stuff, like they're going to talk smack, and it's going to be very entertaining. But I could see Ryan Garcia getting the TKO or KO before the end of the night.
We'll move on after this, but this book I'm looking at doesn't even have odds for the fight. They have Teofimo Lopez. You'll want to know this. Minus 280 against Arnold Barbosa Jr. at plus 205. Okay. Okay. We'll talk about that when the time comes. Devin Haney is minus 1200 against Jose Ramirez, who's plus 680, which I get that. I get
You
it.
know what? I'm a big Jose Ramirez fan, so
Yeah.
I'm hoping to see something a little bit different. I want to see how Devin Haney is in this fight, because last time we saw him, he was his chin was broke and things were a little bit different, and you never know how you are after you get knocked down like that. And it wasn't just once.
Fair or unfair, Ryan Garcia does make a valid point where, like, he says, look, even if I was on steroids or whether he copped to it or not, he still says you still got hit with like a million left hooks.
I've
And
been
it's
saying
like,
that though. I've been saying that, dude.
you
Like,
know,
I hate to say it. I know that it's taken off his record. We're always gonna remember that fight. Always.
we'll
It's
remember it when his next loss inevitably happens, because I don't think he's going to retire undefeated.
no, I don't think it happens. Also because, like, what Devin Haney are we gonna get now? Honestly, I think Devin Haney is a very, very good, talented boxer. I think a lot of people just don't like his personality. I think maybe his dad makes it a little bit more tough to like him.